This is private property. Don't enter the yard.
I got a fucking foot.
Don't enter this yard.
But the mother got to park in the middle of the road. He could fucking
all right, we just asked you to get in your car and please leave. You just stop approaching me. Stop approaching me.
This was my house.
Stop approaching me. Could you please get out of our yard and back in your vehicle? Could you please get out of the yard and get back in your vehicle, please, sir?
Okay.
I don't say nothing. Please.
I mean,
could you please?
I'm too old.
Please get out of the yard and back in your vehicle.
No,
could you please?
It is what it is. But it's evidently I ain't scared of y'all. I mean, I love black people. I have hired.
Hey, y'all, look,
I fought for years. I have hired. You know, been hurt.
You've been actually get away. Hey,
y'all know we need them. They worked for me for 10, 15 years. I'm a nice guy.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is,
all
you got to do is get off the road. You ain't got to
at this point, you trespassing. You've been asked to leave several times.
Y'all.
Hey.
I'm sick of this. I ain't putting no more. Get in the house. You hear me? I ain't putting up with it no more. Hey, you can keep filming me all you want to, but you're going to want in your head.
I'm not. He's gonna go to jail. 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 And I started to shoot. But I ain't got, he going to jail. You going to jail. You going to jail.
Hey, yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. 1751, tapping in, right? For those of you who have already smashed subscribe, man, I'd like to take my head off to y'all. Thank y'all for your unwavering support, man. It means so much to me in this channel, man. You know. And for those of you who have yet to smash and subscribe, go on over and smash subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell notification while you at it. Now, today, we're going to be reporting on a case about a man who goes by the name of Robert Thornberry, 56-year-old white man who goes by the name of Robert Thornberry, right? Now, Mr. Thornberry was obviously a white man who understands that he has a certain amount of privilege, right? That allows him to move throughout life in a certain, in a particular way. Which you might notice with a lot of these privileged white folks. Your everyday, white person. Some people, some of them they overuse their privilege in ignorance, right? And you have some who just deny they have privilege altogether. But the ones that act out as you're about to see, like Mr. Thornberry, there's no question whether race is involved, whether they are overwhelmed, or whether they are whether these people are overtaken by their privilege noticeably, right? Now, as you're about to see, this 56-year-old white man by the name of Robert Thornberry was driving along a road where there were some black folks. I believe they were parked, and Mr. Thornberry in his car struck the other vehicle, which the other vehicle belongs to a black family that lives down the road, right? So whatever happened along, that occurrence, whether there were any words spattered at each other or however it went, Mr. Thornberry proceeded to leave the scene, unwanted. This is the traffic stop. whether it's a minor collision or a major collision. This is an accident, right? And everyone knows if you go about things the right way, if you're one of those people who goes about things the right way, you understand that when you get into an accident, whether major or minor, either the police has to be called or insurance and information has to be exchanged so that we can go about doing everything the legitimate way. You know, not paying, you know, giving each other money and all, you know. The proper way is to, you know, to go the legal route and get things done in that manner. Now, not to say that people don't exchange money. People do it every day. You know, people pay for damages up front a lot of times, you know, because sometimes, you know, people might feel like the damages wasn't extensive to the point where they want to even get insurance companies involved. Because, you know, everybody understand that once insurance company get involved, everybody's getting robbed anyway. So there are incidents where people rather just, you know, pay a few $100s and just, you know, get the problem out the way and go about their life. But this situation here with Mr. Thornberry, he hit these people's car and then he proceeded to go on about his day, right? But if that wasn't enough, you know, a hit and run is bad enough. But if that wasn't enough, Mr. Thornberry went home to his house, parked his car that he was in, that he hit these people with, jumped into his truck. As you can see, he pulled up in a big gray truck, pickup truck. This guy jumped into this truck and apparently, his privilege somehow made him feel like that this would be a good idea to get in my truck and ride over to these people's house. And when I first watched the video, I said, well, how do you know these people live at if they didn't get hit directly in front of their house? You know, like a party at the house, or, you know, people don't. But as you can see in the video, this guy is going to say, I used to live here. This used to be my house.
Please, you need to stop approaching me. Stop approaching
This
me.
was my house.
Stop approaching me. Could you please get out of our yard and back in your vehicle? Could you please get out of the yard and get back in your vehicle, please, sir?
Okay.
I don't say nothing. Please.
I mean,
Could you please?
I'm too old.
Please get out of the yard and back in your vehicle.
No,
Could you please?
You know,
Could
it
you
is what it
please?
is. But it's evidently I ain't scared of y'all. I mean, I love black people.
So I don't know whether the guy is in the real estate or whether his, you know, he grew up in that home and moved down the road or whatever, you know. But somehow, if this is true, Mr. Thornberry, he spat it out that this used to be my house, right? So explains, you know, why he's in the area or whatever, right? But this man, he pulls up after hitting these people, hitting and run. He pulls up to their house and gets out of his truck as they are on the porch, doing whatever they're doing, talking, whatever. He gets out the truck and he approaches their home, right? And as he's approaching, as he's walking on that grass toward the house, you hear a black brother saying, you know, get off my property. Get off of the property. You know, back away. You know, he said it in as many ways as he could. Back away, get off my property, you're trespassing. You know, leave us alone, get back in your truck. But this white man was having none of it. He was having none of it. You know, he had some things he wanted to get off his chest. And for that, he stayed, man. You know, he didn't feel like these black folks had the right to tell him, to tell a privileged white man what to do. Even when he's on their property. Even when he's on their property. He didn't obey. their commands.
So,
Hey,
I'm sick of this. I ain't putting up none of it no more. You hear me? Get in the house. You hear me? I ain't putting up with it no more. Hey, you can keep filming all you want to, but you're going to want your head.
I'm not. He finna go to jail. 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 And I started shooting. But I ain't got, hey, yeah. He going to jail. You going to jail. You going to jail.
You know, they politely asked him to back away. They didn't say, get the fuck off my property. They didn't call him any names or anything. But see, this is the thing. These media outlets would like people to believe that black folks are the animals, man. We are the people who are uncivilized, don't know how to act, don't know how to talk. But when you see things like this, and you see these black people, right? They are on a receiving end of unjust violence, right? They're on a receiving end, man. You know, they are on defense. And I didn't hear them utter one name, you know, one offensive name to this guy. I didn't hear, I didn't see anybody act out, you know, like they like to paint, you know, as black people, as, acting out and not being able to control our behavior and all these negative things they attach to us. You know, I see none of it. Not here in this incident, right? But stations like Fox News and CNN and MSNBC, they would never show you a video like this. You know, we have a white man, which is obviously racist, and this is obviously a racist encounter, right? Now, like I said, they damn near begged this man to just leave. You already hit our car. What else do you want from us? Why are you here? You hit our car down the road. You left. We're home now. Why are you here? You know. Now, I would have liked for those black folks to call the police and report this guy for the hit and run. But as a black man, I understand the way it is, because I've been down that road many times, you know, trying to call the police on a white man, you know, trying to call the police on a white man. They pull up, they're not really trying to listen to you, or they're faking a report. Yeah, they writing a report, but it's like, you know, this is minute. This is like the least of my worries. Just write this shit, make them feel good, and then so I can get out of here, right? But nothing really ever gets done when you're reporting a white man, right? I've been down that road, man. I've been hit in my Porsche. I had a Porsche truck on my way to work. This was quite a few years ago. On my way to work, a white man with a work truck with a big attachment on the back. He tries to go around me, and his trailer sideswiped my Porsche. I chased the man about 3.5, 4 miles down the road, where he stops at a light, and I pulled beside him, and I said, "Yo, man, what you doing? You just hit my vehicle." And the first thing he said to me is, "You're driving too slow, man. My guys got stung by bees. I have to get to the hospital." True story. You know, and that pissed me off even more, man, because just knowing that this guy know he hit my car, and now he's basically gaslighting me. He's deflecting, right? He's trying everything because he don't even take me serious. I'm a black man, and I'm in a white area. I'm in his, obviously, it might have even been his community, right? So I tells the man, you know, I'm gonna need you to pull over. He said, "I'll pull over." I said, "All right, cool, great, pull over." He pulled over to the nearest golf. There was a golf tournament type of thing down the street. In the parking lot, he pulled over into the parking lot. I pulled over. I called the police. We sit and wait for the police. Police arrive. they go straight to the white man. All three officers arrived. They all got out and they huddled around the white man. They were talking, and I'm just patiently sitting over there looking at them, waiting for them to come get my side of the story. I'm the one who called, right? So they're over there. Before you know it, they're laughing and patting each other on the back and all this type of goofy, all this type of buffoonery. When you got me sitting over there, a black man who made the call, now I'm pretty much concerned. What the hell is this? Then they finally one officer comes over to me, right, and asks me, what's going on. I explained the guy hit me and ran. They didn't ask whether I was hurt. They didn't ask whether I need an ambulance. They didn't ask me any of those questions. They kept it very short and brief with me. What we'll do is we'll take a police report. We'll give you a DC number, and you can follow up after that. Right? They spoke with me for no longer than 2 minutes, and that was it. And I went on about my day and went to work, and I was sick about it. But these are the things that these white folks understand. The privilege that they have allows them leeway over a lot of situations, man. When I say this situation here, Mr. Thornberry, man, when they told him about 10 times, man, to just get out, just get out of here, man, in the nicest way they could. Please, just leave, get in your vehicle, just go. And as a lot of y'all might realize, right, with a lot of these white folks, when they are racist or have the racist, the jitter of racism in them, a lot of times they will say, I love black people. I love black people. The deflection. I love black people, right? I had such and such. I had 8 black people work for me. I've hired black people throughout the years. I own a business. They say things like this, man, to try to throw you off, right? But all I'm asking you, all of that means nothing. All I'm asking you is to leave off of my property. I don't care how many black people you employ. I don't care how many black people you have in your family. I don't care how many black people you supported or donated to. I don't care. I don't care, right? You hit my vehicle and now you're on my property. You already damaged my vehicle. Now you're on my property, right? Looking for a reason to damage me or my property. That's how I feel, right? And I'm quite sure these black folks probably didn't think that this guy would go this far. But since they wouldn't listen to him, he turned around and his racism kicked in. The KKK without the hood kicked in, right? He turned around and he said, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of you people, right? This is how he felt all along. He came up there with that agenda. I'm sick of you people. Otherwise he wouldn't have went up there. For what? For what? Well, what are you trying to fix? Why are you up here, right? So he calmly turned around and said, I'm sick of you people. And he walked back to his truck. He said, I had enough of this. That's what he said. I had enough of this, right? I had enough of you people talking back and forth with me. You should know better. You should know better than to get in a verbal altercation with a white man. I am over you. You have no privilege. You don't belong here in this land. These are the things that this man thinking in his head. These type of people operate in that manner, man. So when he couldn't get through to these black people, the only thing he could think of was, I've had enough. And he turned around and he proceeded to walk back to his truck, which was parked in the road. In which appeared that he was going to get in the truck and just pull off. I'm sick of these people, whatever. It appeared that he was just going to jump back in the truck and just pull off and, altercation, situation over, right? But that's not quite what he had in mind. This man climbed into his truck and grabbed a long gun. Right? And as soon as he exited back out of that truck, he had that gun pointed at that porch full of black people. He had that gun pointed at a crowd of black people, right? And as he approached the house for a second time, a few steps in, he let a shot off. And as you can see, once he let a shot off, you hear people screaming and, you know, he let that shot off. You can see the person's holding the camera kind of falls to the ground a little bit and had to reposition the camera. And at that moment, you can see that one of those people also had a pistol. But the real question is why? Why did that person practice restraint and not using that pistol when there was already a shot fired at them? It would have been self-defense, right? It would have definitely been self-defense, right? Makes me wonder, why didn't this person send a shot back at this man in return? Why? I mean, because they obviously had a pistol. He was obviously close enough. It was combat, right? And it would have been justified combat, as I would like to believe, right? But who knows? This black person, like any other black person or many other black people, you know, because some of us, we don't care. You know, it's got to be what it got to be when it comes to our life. But you have some of us who we understand as well that if I shoot this white man, even though he's fully in the wrong, he's on my property, he's discharging a firearm at a porch full of my family, right? Who knows? Could have been. It doesn't matter who was on the porch, right? It's just natural for black folks to have to think twice when it comes to dealing with white people, because we understand how they spin narratives. You know, how the media is mainly, run by white folk. The government is mainly run by white folk. So when it comes down to spinning narratives, the white folks will always spin it in their direction, right? They will always spin it in their direction. And if it's unspinnable, then they won't report on it at all. They just won't give you a report on it at all, man. It just won't make the mainstream media. Now, situations like this, they happen all the time, man. But they don't fit the narrative that America wants to push, right? And this is the reason why, when you think about white people, you think about them as, they're just great upstanding citizens. You know, they run all the businesses in America. They got all the jobs. They're very respectful people, and because you don't see much of this. You don't see much of it, but it happens every day. They are the majority in America, man. The minority across the world, but they are the majority in America, right? But all of the crimes that they commit, you don't even have a percentage of those crimes on display. You know, you don't have a small percentage of those crimes being plastered all over media, the same way you see in the black community. And I agree, man. In the black community, man, crime has run rampant, man. You know, we have a real problem. We have a real problem, man. And something also needs to be done about that. But that's another story, right? Just because we have a high crime rate in black communities doesn't mean that when a white person does something to a black person, it shouldn't get the media attention. Because what people like to do is when you point out the crimes and the atrocities of white folks against black folks, the first thing they like to do is say, well, what about black folks? You know, what about the black on black crime? You know, when you complain about white cops killing black people, they love to spin it, man, and say, well, you don't care about it this much when when Tyreek killed John, or you know, when Pookie killed Ray Ray, you don't care about it when it's black on black. But when a white cop kills a black man or a white man shoots a black man, oh, now y'all want to get out here in the streets and march. And these are the ways that the Uncle Ruckers try to spin it. You know, when they're looking for when they're working towards getting their cookies from the white community. You know, when they're trying to get a taffy from the white community. You know, when they want something to suck on from the white community, these are the type of terms that they like to use. You know, a white man killing a black man. The only reason why y'all hitting the streets is because it's a white man. What about when a black man kills a black man? That's a problem in its own. A white man killing a black man is a total different problem. You understand that? Police on civilian is a totally different problem. Understand that? You know, and until we get to the bottom of these situations, man, and correct the narrative and move as a unit to try to work on combating this problem and denting the issue, then these situations will continue to go on. Now, this man, Mr. Thornberry, he was, fortunately, he was arrested. He was arrested for, I believe, he was charged with eight counts of aggravated assault and discharging a weapon, in which he got a bail. He got a bail set at, I believe, $250,000, which was also questionable for me, you know, because I know from my years of indulging in criminality, you know, and the criminal charges that I received, you know, years ago, I was arrested just for having a firearm, and my bail set at $500,000, $500,000 just for having a firearm. Now, I know many of you might say, well, what was your history? You know, what was your jacket like? Why was your bail so high? And there had to be other things in your past that determined, that the judge used to determine your bail. Which, you know, that could be true, right? But a person discharging a firearm, and not only discharging a firearm, but discharging a firearm into a private area, right? Not only that, trespassing, hit and run, trespassing, firing a firearm while you're trespassing into a person's residence, right? And not while people are not there. All these things, God has to be played into, you know, to the narrative when they're determining these sentences and these bells, setting these bells, man. You know, not only did this guy do all these things, man, he fired a firearm into a crowd of black folks who were on their property, on their porch. You know, and all he received was a $250,000 bill. And depending on where he's from, he might just have to pay $2,500. I know here in Pennsylvania, 10%. You paying $2,500 and you out of there, man. You know? So, like I always say, man, here in America, man, there's a two-tier justice system. You know, rules for we and rules for thee. And a lot of us had just grown to just, you know, to just accept the unjust, you know, the negligence within our legal system. You know, a lot of us have just we just accept the wrongdoing, man, the oppression, you know, and it's sickening, man. You know, because we, from time and time again, we have black folks, we vote them into these high positions, and as soon as they get in there, man, the first thing they say is, you know, well, I'm not going to do anything for the black community in particular, you know, because I believe in all Americans. And they say shit like that, man. And that type of shit pisses me off every single time, man. You know, But like I said, until we get some honest, people in power, man, this narrative will continue to go on the way that, these evil people, man, it will just keep on going on, man, and it's just sad, man. It's fucked up, because had that black person shot back at that white man and possibly struck that white man, there would have been a narrative. There would likely have been a narrative spent, to put the black man as the animal, or the suspect. It probably wouldn't have been a self-defense, which we all could see it would have been a self-defense, but in this two-tier justice system, it probably wouldn't have been a self-defense. That black man would have probably, if at the lowest, that black man would have got an aggravated assault right along with that white man. Understand that. He likely wouldn't have got off. He likely wouldn't have got off on a self-defense. Anyway, it's your boy, Mr. 1751. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, man, for yet another one. But until next time, hey, if you enjoy watching videos like these, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Help your boy get into the algorithm so that I can continue to bring you more videos just like the one you just watched. Anyway, until next time, y'all stay up.
Hey,
I'm sick of this. I ain't putting up no more. Get in the house. You hear me? I ain't putting up with it no more. Hey, you can keep filming all you want to, but you're going to want your head.
I'm not. He's gonna go to jail. He's gonna go to jail. He's gonna go to jail.